Hello friends, I just want to do a short race review on Loup Trail Run. This took place last weekend, so it usually takes place the first weekend of December. It's in Ville Platt, Louisiana. I drove from Austin. It was about 7 hours to get there, so it's just right across the Louisiana border, I guess about an hour north of Lake Charles. A really pretty area. I stayed in Best Western at Eunice, which was really cheap. It's only like $70, and it was about 30 minutes to the start line on the Saturday morning. So the race takes place at Lake Chafe. Probably pronouncing it wrong. It's a big lake. It's 20 miles around the lake. So if you're going to do the 100-miler, it's 5 laps. They also have a 20-miler and a 60-miler. If you're interested in that. I was well prepared, I thought. Maybe my mileage wasn't where it needed to be because of my surgery last year, and I've been ramping up. There's a lot of elevation on this course, which is hard to believe because it's in Louisiana. It's around sea level, but there's a lot of up and down roller hills, almost like a mountain bike course around this lake. So you're doing about close to 2,000 feet every lap. It was very cold and there was some rain. Got on the course the Friday before and it was wet already, and due to previous rain. The first 2 miles of the loop is a lot of red clay, so it's very slippery. I think probably the hardest part of the course is the first couple of miles. After that, there's a lot of runnable sections, and then in the back 5 miles, there's a lot of wet swamp area, kind of swampy, muddy trails you have to kind of navigate. You can kind of run on the side of them. After the first lap, you kind of remember what the best route is to get through those. But very nice course. I only made it a few laps because on the first lap, I tripped over a root in that last 5 miles, and I literally face planted. I mean, my face was in the mud. But when I went down, I landed on my left knee, which did get swollen a little bit. It did work its way out, but I also kind of banged up my right foot. And so that kind of caused me some problems. I was running a lot slower than I should because of these injuries, and then I think I just didn't have enough miles in my training. So finished a couple laps. I was happy with that. It's a really, like I said, a beautiful area. There's a lot of swamp bridges that you have to go across, which you saw in the earlier footage on this video. They're really easy to cross, and there was one that was kind of twisted, which really kind of messes with your mind. I really wouldn't want to fall off one of these. I don't know how you'd get back up because it's kind of 3 or 4 feet off of the water. It'd be tricky to get up if you fell off one of them, but I don't think anybody's going to fall off one unless there was ice on there. The race director, she does a great job. There's, I believe it was 3 aid stations, so there's one at the start, finish. And then there's 2 there's 4 mile, then 8 mile, and then you go for an 8 mile stretch to the next aid station. So the distance between 2 and 3, so it's actually 4 aid stations. The distance between 2 and 3 is 8 miles. And the reason is because it's a very remote section. They have no way of getting to there other than by boat. So they don't have an aid station there, but because of the time of year, it's cool. I wasn't running out of hydration. I actually skipped some aid stations. So so the race does a really good job. The race director does a really good job. I highly recommend this event. You think it's going to be an easy 100-miler because it's in Louisiana, it's going to be flat. Well, you're going to be wrong. It's probably going to be a little bit muddy because of the time of year. The temperature helps you, but there's a lot of rolling hills which really beat you up on this course. It's beautiful, but it's a very finishable course. I think I could have finished if I didn't get injured and I kept moving. I think in comparison, it's just a little bit harder than, say, a Rocky Raccoon or Brazos Bend in Texas, but that's because of the elevation and the mud. If you got really good weather, it could be a little bit easier. And what I wore tights. I wore my Smart Wool tights, and then I layered t-shirts. I had 3 polyester t-shirts on, and it was started in the high 30s, so I felt fine. It did warm up a little bit, and then I took 1 t-shirt off, and I did have gloves, never used them. I wore a hat part of the part of the early hours. At night, I would use 2 lights, a headlamp and a hand light, because it's hard to see. It's really dark in the swamp, and there's a lot of roots, and it's muddy. So you really need to see where you're going. The good news is there's no rocks. I didn't see any rocks on the whole trail. Compared to Texas, it's completely different in that respect. There are pine needles which cover the roots, so you have to be careful about the roots. So you would definitely want to use two lights at night. That's my advice. This course does not allow trekking poles, but they're flexible in the later laps. They said you could use trekking poles, so do bring them, even though the manual says do not. Her idea is during the 20 and 60 miler, they don't want people out there with trekking poles because there's not much room on the trail. Actually, there is room on the trail. They're pretty wide. So I kind of differ in opinion about that. But if you need trekking poles, usually in the later part of a 100 miler, bring them. She's going to let you use them, but even though the race document says no. So one thing I did also use in this one for chafing product, I use this new Gooch Goo. Highly recommend it. You know, I've done chafing videos on YouTube, and one of mine is one of my most popular YouTube videos. So I've tried a lot of stuff. This stuff is nice because it doesn't get hard in the cold, and it was designed for triathletes. Triathletes put this on before the swim, and it's still usable after the swim. So very good product. I used it on my nipple area, under my arms, in my groin area, in my rear, basically all the places I usually do, and I had no problems with chafing at all. Now, I was only out there for about 10 hours because I pulled out early, but I really feel that this stuff would have worked the whole race, and works much better than squirrel's nut butter and some other products that like trail toes and stuff that crust up. I was very happy with it. Comes in a nice can that you can unscrew. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in the product. It is made in Australia, but it is available. I think it's about $30 a can, so the price is about the same as some of the other products out there. So that worked really well for me. Shoe-wise, I wore my Olympus 5s, Ultra Olympus 5s. They worked fine. There's a lot of mud out there, so you want to wear a shoe that's wide and has some, the outsole has some grip. You're not going to deal with rocks, but you're going to deal with mud. And like I said, the first couple miles have the red clay, so it's super slippery. And on those miles, you want to take the outside of the trail. Do not try to go up the center of the trail where the red clay is. You're going to fall. If there's roots available, stand on the roots, and those will help you a lot. But to prepare for this race, like the race director says in some videos, you want to get a lot of mileage. There's a lot of runnable sections, so in the runnable sections, you can really click off a lot of time if your legs are in shape to do it. If you're beat up, you're going to be slogging around. You don't want to be slow on the runnable sections, and there's a lot of runnable sections on this course. It's a beautiful course. There's some areas you might have to hike, but a lot of it you can actually run. So I think really good times are possible on this course. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. Happy to get back with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.